Audio.
Today we are doing chapter 9, Bhagavad Gita. The title of this topic, this chapter is Raja Vidya Raja Guhyam in Sanskrit, meaning royal knowledge and royal secret. Chapter 7 and chapter 9, they have a lot of similarities. Practically, it is the continuation from chapter 7 to chapter 9 until 12. Chapter 8 was off tangent. In chapter 7, we discussed about Ishvara Swarupam, that is Supreme Presence. You can call with different names, Nirguna Brahman, consciousness with a capital C, not conscious of, and awareness with a capital A. And then we talked about bhakti, love for God in chapter 7, and then divine grace, Ishvara Anugraha. So chapter 8, we talked about one who is ritualistic, bhaktiman, who is always intense in the supreme devotion, but did not have the opportunity to come to this self-inquiry jnana yoga. Therefore, without self-knowledge, what happens to that jiva who dies? That was the question in chapter 8 that we discussed about. Chapter 9 is 1 to 3, he talks about glory of this knowledge. Jnana Stuti. Krishna starts idam tute guhya tamam. That is, I'm going to tell you a secret of all secrets. He's saying that knowing about me is not about Krishna. Krishna is an avatar. He's talking about Nirguna Brahman. Knowing about me is the highest secret. Krishna is incarnated. So he's saying to Arjuna, anasuya, that means asuya means jealousy or complaining, whining kind of type. But because you are anasuya, the opposite of it. So I'm going to tell you that what it means is you have to have the pure, clear mind without any raga dvesha, without any likes and dislikes. So Arjuna is getting ready to listen to Krishna. And in line 2, he says, all beings have the knowledge of many things. We know so many things in the universe, right? Of course, we don't know some of the things, but generally people know about astrology, astronomy, sea animals, atoms and molecules, and so many things that we learn about. But in spite of all this information that you have, I'm going to share with you something that you can feel, you can experience, and with that which is going to be very, very helpful and beneficial to you in your life. It is an introduction to the self-knowledge, that knowledge that he is going to give. And that knowing upon which you will be totally relieved from all sufferings. It's not only just intellectual, but you can personally feel it. You can feel it and it will be very beneficial to you. So that was verse 1. Verse 2, he's saying, he uses several adjectives for his knowledge. That is the royal knowledge. Royal knowledge is only this is knowledge. Everything else that we experience, we learn on a day-to-day basis for years and years. They're all just information for our intellect. So this is the most secret knowledge. Even if it is taught, many cannot grasp it. That is why it is a secret. Raja Guhyam, royal secret. Because not everybody can understand it. You have to be able to grasp it. That secret is sacred. We humans do several things, several sadhanas, practices, daily, regular puja, prayers, meditation, pranayama, that is breath control, yoga. But none of this can remove the anger, worry, frustration, fear from our mind. But the knowledge that I'm going to share with you, that will remove all these things. This knowledge is therefore called as pavitram, pure, a cleaning agent. We often clean our body to appear nicer. We clean our car, we clean our home, but we never think of cleaning our mind because it is not visible to others. So I'm going to share with you the knowledge that will purify your mind, remove all the likes and dislikes. You'll go beyond plurality. It is very simple. It is very easy. It is imperishable knowledge you will never forget. To qualify this, complete Shraddha, trust with reverence, is necessary. So he's saying humans, without knowing this, without understanding this, are caught up in this ever-changing pluralistic world, experiencing sorrows, sufferings, and struggles in the cycle of birth and death. So verse 1 to 3 is just giving the introduction to knowledge, greatness of this knowledge. The seeker should not be whining or complaining or does not have the likes and dislikes, accept what is. Trust with reverence the scriptures and the Guru, in this case Krishna and Shankara. It's not a blind belief. Just because I say or Shankara says, we just obey it. No, it's not a blind belief. It is you listen to it, contemplate on it, clarify it by asking questions and get convinced. It is a do-it-yourself program, self-paced program. So when you have for example, when you have a bad dream at night when you're at sleep, the only way to come out of that bad dream is to wake up, right? As long as you are in that plane, you are going to experience that emotion of fear. Similarly, only upon waking up, knowing, understanding this supreme knowledge, will one get out of the sufferings and sorrows. When one lives with this knowledge, all your actions become sacred and easy. Verse 4 to 10, Krishna introduces himself as Nirguna Brahman. Remember, Krishna is an avatar. That is the difference between Sanatana Dharma and ISKCON temple. In ISKCON temple, Krishna is the Lord. But in Sanatana Dharma scriptures, Krishna is an avatar, is an incarnation. Ava means coming down. Avatar means coming down as an exact copy. So incarnation is choosing to come back. All the realized masters, realized ones, they choose to come back to make a difference in the planet. Whereas reincarnation is rebirth based on our own karmic performances, consequences of karma, actions. Actions here again refers to thought, word, and deed. This is verse 4 and 5, the very, very critical in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 9. Verse 4, he says, I am formless and I'm all pervasive, I'm in all appearances. That is one first statement. He gives 4 statements. I am all pervasive, I am formless, and I'm in all appearances. All beings are in me. I am not in them. None of these are in me. That is verse 5, the last line. I'm repeating again. I am formless and all pervasive in all appearances. All beings are in me. I am not in them. None of them are in me. Seems very contradictory, right? It causes confusion. Do we understand the statements? That's why it is called royal secret, Raja Guhyam. Because by reading or just listening, we will not understand anything. These 4 statements need to be clearly understood. If you're sleepy right now, go and get a coffee. That's fine. This chapter 9 needs full attention, full single-pointed focus. We pray, we worship, we meditate, we visit holy places and temples, churches, and mosques, and trust that Supreme Lord will take care of us. But what is the connection between God and the world, God and me? Several religious leaders and people from many different belief systems have several thoughts. There are several differences. Some think that God is different from me. That is Dvaita, duality. This cannot be accepted and is not convincing, says Shankara. Why? We all have the powers to walk, talk, think, decide, and many more. But if we are different from God, that means that God does not have these powers. Right? God doesn't, but God is akarta. And therefore, he becomes less powerful and not omnipotent. Therefore, separating God from the world is not a convincing statement. It defines Advaita. God is separate, world is separate, it becomes duality. But God is Ekam. That is one point. Second, some say that the entire universe itself is God. And this is also refuted by Shankara. Just like a tree has different parts, bark, branches, leaves, flowers, fruits, or our body has got arms, legs, abdomen, and eyes, all these different organs. Shankara says that the entire universe is God doesn't make sense, because whatever the destruction the world faces, all the unrighteousness that happen, they all go to God. Any destruction just like any destruction that happens to my eye, it affects me. So then God, but the word that God is Purnam, complete, total, wholeness, it is gone. It is negated, right? So number 2 is also not accepted. The third group of people say the cosmos, the universe is God. Universe itself is God. That's also not acceptable, says Shankara, because the universe is ever changing, anityam, indepreciable, destructible. So universe is different, and God is universe and God both are different, is invalid. World is a part of God, is invalid. World is God, everything is God, is also not convincing, because the world keep on changing every millisecond. So far we have seen different viewpoints. Now Krishna is going to give the relationship between world and the Supreme. He starts with an example. Say there are several parts created from clay, made of clay. We make many different parts with clay, right? So the clay is the cause, the part is the effect. The names of all parts are different. Some are, you can say it's a pitcher, it's a plate, it's a tea cup, it is a water cup, pitcher, or a planting pot. You can call different names. All the shapes are different, but the material is the same, right? Similarly, God is the cause. The world is an appearance of God with the different names and forms. It is an appearance. Just like the rope is the cause of snake. If the rope is 8 inches, the snake will also be 8 inches. If the rope is 10 feet, the snake will also be 10 feet. That existence, the isness is supreme in the Supreme, that is transferred, that is superimposed onto the snake. Similarly, the isness of God, Supreme, is the universe. This is Satyamitya Sambandha, the truth and appearance relationship. That which is ever present is the truth. That which is only for appearance and experience without the locus of existence, it is illusion, it's Maya. As long as I am connecting myself with this body and mind, I see these things. But I am not this body, I am not this mind. It's like we see the rainbow. Rainbow doesn't have a place of locus of existence. Clay and parts are two different words, but one entity. What is nothing but clay. Name and forms have no separate existence. Say we have flour. Out of flour we make bread, crackers, pasta, cake, muffins, whatever. Right? Same thing. What is only flour with different names and forms. If you take out that flour, none of them exist. Similarly, Supreme is the cause. The universe is the effect. Whether the universe is separate from that Supreme or a part of that Supreme or Supreme itself, God itself. Let's see the example again. From the clay, many parts came. From iron, many tools came. From gold, many jewelries or ornaments came. From ocean water, many waves appeared. What is only clay, only iron, only gold, and only water. Nothing new is produced, but one appears as many. Therefore, I alone is, the Isness is in me, says Krishna. From me, all names and forms have appeared. Let's review the example of clay and pot again. Let's assume that the clay is speaking now. The clay is saying, I am in all parts. All parts are in me. That means when the clay is removed from those parts, there are no parts. Right? The number third one is, I am not in any part. Meaning, I am not leaning on any of those parts. I'm not dependent on any part. Whether the part exists or broken, I exist. Clay is always there. So I'm not in any part. I'm not dependent on that. Part's existence is not my isness. Therefore, all parts are in me. I am not in them. Hope this is clear. None of these parts are in me. The word part is superimposed on me, clay. The name and form are placed on me. Similarly, all beings are overlaid on me, just like the parts on clay. I'm in all beings. Clay is in all parts. No being is in me. No part in the clay. No pot in the clay, so no snake on the rope. I am not in any being. That means I am not leaning on, dependent on any being. Rope is not dependent on the snake. Rope appears to be snake. Once this is clear, we can understand that there is no creation per se, but an appearance with names and forms. Mithya. Mithya means apparent appearance. There is no exact English word for mithya. It is apparent appearance. It would be difficult to grasp this with a constant interaction with the world that we are dealing with. We need to pause and think, analyze, and inquire. It's a challenge because we are for so many lifespan, we have been in this universe, dealing with likes and dislikes, attached ourselves to this body. The world is like a mirage, a rainbow, aurora appearing without existence. This is from the highest state of spirituality. Therefore, Krishna that God is, for the beginners, he says God created the universe. That creator is Brahma, one of the Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. Sustenance is by Vishnu. Dissolution is by Shiva. This is the first step, while Krishna is in the highest step. Since this is difficult to grasp, therefore it is called royal secret. in chapter 9, the emphasis on the fact that the entire universe is nothing but an appearance, mithya. That is, it is available for interaction, for experience, but upon inquiry, it has no existence. That isness is from me, like a dream. All emotions or experience or all objects, relations that are seen, interacted, but none of those existed upon waking up in a dream. So to teach a beginner, pot is created, that pot is an effect, clay is the cause. Now pot and clay are one and the same, because from clay came the pot. Material is the same. So therefore the effect is the same as the cause. The effect and cause are no different, except for the name and form. Right? As long as there is a student, you can call the person teacher. As long as there is a patient, you can call the doctor is there. As long as there are employees, you can call the person a boss. When there are no students, no patients, no employees, there is no need to call that person as a teacher or a doctor or a boss. Similarly, when the effect is no more, the status as cause is also not there. Cause and effect are but words. What is only one. No cause, no effect, no cause. I want to make sure that everyone understood this clearly. If you have any questions, please ask me. And for Neeta and Divya who came late, you can listen to the recording and then ask me questions later. We move on from here. Verse number 4 and 5 are very, very critical, very difficult to understand. So that is why it is called Raja Guhyam, royal secret. It has to be completely listened carefully and questioned, try to understand. So the process is the effect was introduced first, followed by the introduction of the cause. Then emphasis on the effect and cause are one and the same. Therefore, there is no effect. When the effect is not there, there is no reason to call it as a cause also. So what is only one without a second. When the snake is not the effect, why call the rope as cause? When the street is dry, why call rain as the cause? Just like the snake that creates fear. As long as we are dealing with the world, it appears to be real. We experience it and we have emotions. When we say it is Maya, illusion, it cannot be comprehended for a general human mind who is going through challenges in life. It's not easy. Therefore, Shastram says, the scriptures say, that the universe was created, the space came first, then came the air, followed by fire, water, and earth. I try to remember it as SAFE, S-A-F-E, and then between F and E, you put a W. So space, air, fire, water, earth. So scientists talk about Big Bang theory. The scriptures. So the scriptures show the known fact, the world first, and then takes us from the known to the unknown. That is first, that it was subtle. Like it is also mentioned in Atma Bodha, verse 12 to 14. It is subtle. Subtle means everything is in the mind. If you're looking for a cup, you can't see it. So any object, it was in somebody's mind first, in the subtle form. Then it took the dimensions, stula form, gross. So also, everything, the gross elements, he introduces the effect first, that is the world. Then he takes us to the Sukshma Sharira, which is in the mind. Sukshma is without dimensions. It is in the form of an idea, thought. Stula is with dimensions. So whatever is created has to have a cause, right? The cause of the world is supreme, Ishwaran. That is a cause. So Brahma was introduced. First the world was introduced and then Brahma was introduced. Just like the clay and pots are not different from each other, this universe was created by Ishwaran. And therefore, Ishwaran and the world are one and the same, not different from each other. This is for beginners of Vedanta. Since there is no effect, there is no cause. So what is one alone. So when the name and form is given to the ever-existent one, it is world. This is referred as cause and effect inquiry. Karya Karana Vilakshana, meaning that which has no characteristic, no distinguishing mark, the state or a condition for which no cause is assigned, causeless state, something that is unequal, you cannot compare with anything, it is extraordinary, is my Lakshana, my feature. Lakshana is personality, essence, but Vilakshana is undefinable, indescribable. So one who knows me as this attains moksha, says Krishna. This ever-changing universe is superimposed, overlaid on me. I am the substratum of all this ever-changing, appearing universe. Without any modifications in me, the rope had never transformed into a snake. Rope was misunderstood to be a snake. So he continues, verse 4 here. Just like the rope is the basis for a snake, just like the desert sand is the basis, is the substratum for the appearing water. I am the formless presence, invisible, but in all beings. I am not dependent on them. They are not dependent on me. But they are not in me. That means they are dependent on me. I am not dependent on them. Krishna is the first, is maintaining in first two steps, taking the seekers, all of us, gradually to non-dual, to Advaita. This universe was created. I am the cause of it. This is what he is going to be from now to till chapter 12. So this universe is my creation. Therefore, by hating, detesting this world, showing aversion, repulsion to any other being, you cannot worship me because I am in all beings and in everything. So whatever you see, you are seeing me. Whatever you are hearing me. He continues as the cause of this universe. Because as long as the likes and dislikes exist, then this knowledge is inconceivable. So hold on to the fact that this universe is nothing but supreme. A paradigm shift in our worldview. We humans often tend to recall many individuals whom we don't like because of what he or she said to us, did to us, or made us feel. Krishna says, start seeing me in all. Only when the mind is pure, this knowledge can be grasped. If this is too challenging for us to understand, to grasp, keep it in the treasure chest, and eventually we will get it. It's like, I often say that swallow everything as a cow, and then you can munch on it later. Slowly, steadily. That is why we have this class once a month, so you can keep thinking about it, contemplate on it. So now let's keep these points in mind. When we all go to temples, mosques, and churches, we worship a picture or an idol, but never in another human. Why? Because in our mind, God is different from the world. That's our understanding, which is not the right vision. By hating, hurting, demeaning, cheating other being, and worshipping me is not a worship. Only when you see the divine presence in all, you are worshipping me. That is the true worship, says Krishna. Verse 6 to 10, I am asangaha, not attached to anything. As long as there is an attachment, Any pain that the attached feels, experiences, that affects me, that hurts me, because I am attached to that. As we are attached to our parents, partners, and children, any pain that they go through, we experience it. But Lord is not attached to any being or anything, just presence. There is no I and mine. All sufferings are because of that I and mine. That is the root cause. Our body experiences heat and cold. Similarly, mind experiences pleasure and pain. Lord says, I am independent, not leaning on anything or attached to anything. Whenever we are attached to something or someone, that causes pain and pleasure. Krishna says, I am not dependent on anything. Everything depends on me. I am not attached to anything. Non-attachment does not mean indifference. It means respect and kindness. Live and let live. So Krishna is not affected by any situation or anything. Similarly, learn to be a part of the world, yet apart from it. Simply do your duty. Keep on doing what you have to do as a role, whatever role you are in, as a parent, as a child, as an employer, as an employee. Do what you need to do. That's it. There's a Khalil Gibran, you would have heard of, Lebanese American philosopher. He says, children are not born to you, but born through you to be a contributor in the society. So when the more we attach ourselves, anything, any problem, any challenge that they face, we are affected. So this is not easy, but needs to be practiced. This is non-interference. I am Nirguna Brahman, the cause of all appearances without being attached to any of this, says Krishna. There's no connection, attachment between the truth and the appearance, like the rope and the snake, like a flower and a fragrance. There is no attachment. Fragrance comes. Even if you don't see the flower, it is an expression. Similarly, everything that is around us that we see, everything is an expression of that divine presence. Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. The mirage water cannot wet the desert sand, but it is the cause of the appearance of that water. Similarly, the universe is an appearance, cannot affect that Nirguna Brahman. And that is you, Tat Tvam Asi. You are that. Nothing can affect you. If something affects you, that means there is a connection. There is a I and mine there. There's an attachment. In chapter 2, Krishna introduced Atman. The inner presence is an individual body. In an individual body is independent of the body and mind. When he said Bhishma and Drona, bodies would die, but their Atma will not die. He said that in chapter 2. In verse 6 here, he says, he is referring to the Supreme as at the cosmic level. Like the space or the air is not affected by anything. So is the Supreme. Sun or even the street light is not affected by the funeral procession or the wedding procession. Similarly, I am like that air, not affected by the fragrance of the flower or the foul smell of the gutter. In verse 4 and 5, he states very important point. The effect was introduced, that is the pot and the world. Pot in the example, world in this text. The cause was introduced, clay, the creator. The effect was negated because the effect and cause are one and the same. Therefore, the status that cause is also negated. So what is only one Brahman without a second. But when our family and friends experiences challenges, physical pain or mental agony, distress, Some may say, everything is but some people come and say everything is but an appearance. Or when somebody is lost, then they say, Atman doesn't die. Totally inappropriate. At that time, the family is emotional. They cannot understand this or accept this. So we need to accept their emotion and show empathy at that point. We cannot talk Vedanta at that time. I remember I was 13 years old. My father passed away. His dead body is just lying in the living room. One of the senior men came. He's telling me, Atma doesn't die. I said, no, my dad is just, he cannot get up and talk to me. What are you saying? I was angry at that time. But now I realize that we should not be in that position to tell other people when they are going through struggles. We need to be empathetic. That's not the time to talk Vedanta. Just by reading and listening or attending satsang sessions, one cannot grasp this idea. It's difficult to accept it. That's to understand that life is nothing but a dream. It takes practice day in, day out, and several experiences in life. Conceptualization that one alone is a difficult one, because this needs to be practiced on a daily basis. So therefore, Krishna is only on the first two steps until the chapter 12. There are repetitions of chapter 8. Now he's saying that I created all beings. They all dissolve in me at the end of the kalpa. All beings are frozen and recreated based on their individual karmas. The creation and dissolution is constant. Even the concept of time is dissolved. It is a cyclical process. You can see if you look at the nature around us, seasons are cyclical, right? Summer, spring, winter, spring, summer, autumn and summer. Summer, autumn and winter. Again, it is a cyclical process. So also with the tree and the seed. Rotation, look at all the rotations, revolutions, everything is a cyclical process. Similarly, the entire universe, the birth and death is a cyclical process. We sleep, and when we wake up in the middle of the night, the first thing, what do we do? What is it? What time is it? Oh, it's only 1:30. So when you are looking at the time, you are awake. When you are asleep, there is no time. Time is absorbed into you. So when we are asleep, we are not aware of the time. The concept of time is created by man. It's always now alone is, no other way. Now, only now is there. That's why it is called a present. Because humans created so many different types: astrological time, astronomical time, biological time, geological time. All these are created by human. There is no time. Time is just present now. These acts of generation, operation, dissolution does not affect me, says Krishna. They do not bind me. I am unperturbed, undisturbed, neutral observer. So that is how we need to be in the universe. It is not easy, but we have to practice it. We have to be aware of this. Nothing can affect you because you are that. Now, verse number 11, he goes to bhakti, devotion. What is bhakti? What is devotion? What is love for God? People give several reasons for their sufferings. I suffer because of this, this, and this. But Krishna says the cause of human suffering is not knowing that Nirguna Brahman. Even at the time of his avatar, many people didn't know him. Same with all these realized masters, realized people, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Buddha. Many avatars, but many at that time did not recognize them as avatar. Even there are avatars around us right now, but we don't recognize them. They are incarnated. These are ignorance caused in the glamour of appearances and pleasures of the mind, of the world, from the world. He says, I am in all beings, the one supreme incarnated into a form to explain this. Verse 12, those who do not know this are ignorant, egoistic, and waste their entire life in desirous thoughts and activities. That's why it is called rat race. Running after something throughout the years, chasing things that are temporary, ephemeral pleasures, without knowing why they do what they do, without a meaningful purpose in life. The entire life is wasted on unwanted, unbeneficial things. Like there's no difference between animal and human if you are just focusing on eating, sleeping, procreating, and enjoying the pleasure. What is the purpose of human life? That is important. So always ask, is this information beneficial to me? Should I get involved in this? Unwanted, unhelpful information could only clog our mind. These have human body but demonic attitude, he says in verse 12. So verse 11 and 12, man alone can be an angel, a human, or an animal. The choice is ours. We are the product of our choices. Ignorance is the cause of all sufferings. And then he talked about life of ignorance and importance of self-realization, self-reflection. Now verse 13 to 15, those who completely unconditionally trust me, surrender unto me, understand that one presence is in all beings, are kind and compassionate to all beings. They worship me. In verse 13, he calls it Ananya bhakti, worships with single-pointed focus without asking for the second one. The level of bhakti he talks about, devotion, depends on how much you know about God, what level of understanding you have about who am I. Just because I introduce Lalit Modi to this Kishore, Naba Kishore, doesn't mean that you will immediately start admiring that person. You need to have the interaction, talk to each other a couple of times, know what this person, then you think about whether I should, whether I admire this person or I want to keep a distance. It depends upon knowing how much you know about that person, knowing how much you know about God, the Supreme Brahman. That decides your bhakti. You have to have that knowledge, right? The more you know about the Supreme, then you start adoring that Brahman. Verse 14, he says, individual who try to know me, who try to understand me and are firm and grounded in that one thought, experience a deeper sense of devotion. They trust me to the extent that they are not perturbed by the challenges that they face. The higher the challenge, higher is their devotion for me, and they surrender unto me. Think of a child, think of a 5-year-old, 10-year-old, 12-year-old. They are not worried about their future. They know for sure, for guarantee, my mom or dad, parents will take care of me. I don't have to worry about anything. That's how we should be trusting. Those who know me, surrender unto me. This is the first step of devotion. That is, he has gained the knowledge that one alone is in all and without a second, and all appearances are divine. Our devotion is directly proportional to how much we know the Supreme. Knowledge and devotion always go together. One without the other is useless. Just a knowledge alone is just pandityam, scholarly. You can be proud. I studied this for 25 years. That is not intellectual. Bhakti is just bhakti without knowing it. You don't know whom you are admiring, right? When intelligence matures and lodges securely in the mind, it becomes wisdom. When wisdom is integrated with life and comes out in action, it becomes bhakti. Knowledge and bhakti are inseparable. We need both for spiritual growth. Some may say, I am just intellectual. Bhakti is not for me. I was like that when I was in my teens, in early 20s. Or others might say, I am emotional, so I avoid jnana, but knowledge. We need both. They are not exclusive, one or the other. Two wings of the same bird. For a bird to fly high, both wings should be there. Your reverence, trust in God depends on how much you know the Supreme. Only the bhakti with knowledge is true bhakti. Otherwise, it's a blind belief. Knowledge without bhakti leads to arrogance. So, bhakti without knowledge is a blind belief. So, how far we are ready to sacrifice for another being depends on how much we know about that person. That knowledge defines our love for that individual. Now, verse 15. Shastra say that studying scriptures, Gita, is considered as jnana yajna. That itself is an yajna, continuously studying in this path. Bhakti is categorized, that is, devotion is categorized into 3 steps. Many start with duality. God is there, asti, that means there is God. Some start with saying that I and God are one. So that is asti, this is asmi, I am. I am that. The few worship me as all in one, one in all. That is the third type. In that verse, he says about Pritaktvena, that is Dvaita Bhavana. God is there, I'm worshipping. Ekatvena, that is one alone is. Viswato Mukam, he is in all being. That is, it is more elaborate in chapter 10 and 11. Verse 16 to 19 briefly introduces that I am in all appearances are me alone. Jivas, humans should have this attitude. That's verse 17. I am in all, I am the father, I am the mother, I am the pitamaha, which is grandfather. That means he's emphasizing that I am the substratum of all. I am the reason for all appearances and disappearances. Generation, generator, operator, dissolver. That is God. Acronym. Verse 19, he talks about I am the birth and I am the death. I am the Lord of death. Lord of death is referred as Dharmaraja. That means king of justice, emperor of righteousness. He doesn't delay anything. He does what he's supposed to do at the given time, any time. Never. Always justice. So I am the Lord of birth and death, and seeing the universe separate from you is the cause of all sufferings. Verse 20 to 21, he says, those who focus on the materialistic life in the worldly pleasure go to Swargaloka. So, Swargaloka is something. In other religion, they call it heaven. Enjoy the happiness and return to this karma bhumi until the self-knowledge is attained. Until this knowledge is attained, we have to come back, take birth again and again and again. Experience this, all the happiness, pleasures, and pain. And when we accumulate that, then we take another body. It is avidya first, ignorance. Avidya, kama, karma, body. Avidya is not knowing who I am. Kama, that ask for the second one. I want that pleasure. So when you want that pleasure, then you act on it, karma. Avidya, kama, karma. Ignorance, pleasure, and work, karma. Then the consequence leads to another body. So it's like going on a vacation. You go there to Swargaloka and then take a break, and then you have to come back here to the base. So verse 22, he says, Lord Krishna is giving an assurance to all seekers. We all know time is money. Those who use this precious time to study scriptures, Ananya Chintya, without the second, always single pointed thought. Think of me consistently. Yoga Kshemam Aham Bahami. This is very important, verse 22. I will give them. Yogam is all needs, whatever you need. Kshemam is maintenance. When we trust that Lord, everything will be taken care of. That is his responsibility. But we need to trust. Lord is not a backup. No, he says, when you spend your time thinking of me, I will provide you with all your needs and take care of all the things that you have without your effort. That's the effect of benefit of total surrender. Do not worship asking for things. Do what you need to do. Do your duties with karma yoga attitude without expecting a result. We have the right to do the duty, but the effect is the result is not in our hands. So do not trust on temporary things. Trust me, like a child and a parent. Why should you and me, when the child does not worry about the future, why should you and me? Why worry? That is why it's called Abhaya Murti. Right? He is the complete provider. He is the insurance. Fear represents that you do not trust Brahman. When you surrender, there is absolutely no fear of anything. That is the sign of spiritual evolution. Nothing should affect you. Therefore, without any other second thought, without any doubt, with single-pointed focus, think of me. If God is in for us, who can be against us? It comes in Romans 8.31. 6th book of New Testament, same thing. There should not be any worry, anxiety, or fear about the future. Verse 23 to 25. Krishna, as Nirguna Brahma, says, whoever worships me, surrenders to me, asks me for whatever they need, I give them what they ask for. I do not choose anybody. I do not choose what to give to whom. It's what they ask, I give. With total, complete surrender, all your needs will be met. You need to take one step, and I will take 10 steps for you. This is what Krishna assures every seeker. This is my personal experience also. For 25 years, I have seen with 2 teenage girls, I was at the age of 49. God walked me through, provided me everything. There was absolutely no doubt about it. Because of my experiences, I can guarantee that you will be provided what you need. You have to surrender. Surrendering to that without any fear is the most important thing. In Karma Kanda of Vedas, we have several deities like Lakshmi, Saraswati, Hanuman, Ganesha, for wealth, for knowledge, for strength, physical strength, for courage, different deities. Ganesha for obstacle remover. Nirguna Brahma, Krishna says, I'm in all. I provide whatever is asked through those deities. Like a bank, you have a checking account, savings account, fixed deposit, loans, insurance, investment. You have to go to that particular person to ask to get that information. If you want information, if you go to checking account manager, then he won't be able to help you. He will direct you there. Same thing. There is one Nirguna Brahman and several deities. So he provides you through those. Or in a supply chain, marketing, you have sales, marketing, finance, right? Operations, different departments. If you want shipment, you have to go to the shipping department. If you want to deliver something, then you have to go to the purchasing department. So also it depends on what you want, whom do you ask. But one appears in different roles. Whichever deity we worship, they all go to, all the things go to, requests go to the one Nirguna Brahman. So there are not many gods, there are many deities. Verse 26 again is very important. It starts with Patram Pushpam Palam Toyam. That means Krishna elaborates devotion. What is devotion again? Some will worship very elaborately in temples with big bands. Others worship in a simple manner. How should we express our devotion? What does Brahman accept? Krishna says, it is not what you give me that counts, but how, with what attitude you give me, that matters, he says. Patram pushpam palam toyam means one leaf, one flower, one fruit, a spoon of water, or just your tears. Everything that we have is a divine blessing, the sense of gratitude. Krishna says, I do not expect anything from you. Surrendering attitude is the only one. Trust with reverence. Then any offering, a sense of gratitude for what we have. We are so blessed in so many ways. Count your blessings. Things could be far bad. I accept anything that you offer to me with that surrendering attitude, he says. Surrender should not be construed with a negative connotation, as a sign of weakness. In transactional reality, surrender is like POW, I surrender, I relinquish, I give up. That's not what it is. In spirituality, surrendering Vedantic perspective, in the spiritual dictionary, surrender is devotion. It is the effect of strength. It is the effect of knowledge. It is the effect of victory. I surrender unto you because I know I don't have to worry about anything. So that's verse 26. Verse 27, Arjuna, whatever you eat, whatever you share with others, whatever you do, offer them all to me. That is bhakti, that is devotion. There's a story, one saint was there, one sage was there, and one person said, I got this prasadam, or a gift from the temple. Take it. And the saint said, I am fasting today. I'm not going to eat anything. He said, no, this is a temple prasadam. That's okay. You can eat. He said, whatever I eat is all my prasadam. Anything that I eat is a gift from God. So that attitude, whatever we have, everything is a gift from God. Gratitude counts. So that Lord will protect me, that I am not interested or drawn to any of these glamorous temporal attractions. Lord will guide me and give me what I need. I don't even have to ask for it. Like a parent knows what to give to a child, right? So if we ask, sometimes when we ask for something, and we will get that, whatever we ask, we will get it, but it may not be good for us. We don't know. Only the higher up knows. Parent knows. If a child comes and asks you for a first chocolate, you will give first 1, 2. The child may ask the third one. The child may ask the fourth one, may throw a tantrum and ask the fourth one. But the consequences, the child will feel it later, stomach pain. So when we ask, we will get what we want, but the consequences we don't know. So if you trust them, then God knows what to give. That's easier to, that way you are just surrendering. Our subconscious mind should always be on the Lord, and our conscious mind should be in the transaction. That this kind of bhakti is called nishkama bhakti, not towards any pleasure. With this consistent thought, interact with the world, be a part of it and yet apart from it. Verse 28, Krishna is addressing the glory of this undivided attention or devotion. What are the benefits of undivided single-pointed devotion? Krishna assures Shubham, that is in verse 28, he says, merits and demerits of your life. Punya will give you another body to experience it. The merit will give you another body to experience it. This unconditional love for God, devotion, Ananya Bhakti, will relieve you from plurality, will take you beyond merit and demerits. You are free from all sufferings and sorrows. You are in peace till you shed this body. You are no longer in the cycle of birth and death afterwards. There's no rebirth. So he says in verse 29, I am equanimous to all beings. I have no likes or dislikes to any being. He glorifies the worship, devotion, undivided, focused attention, surrendering attitude. He ensures that however much an individual has committed unrighteous acts in the past, sometimes we have made mistakes with unknowingly or knowingly, we have done wrong things. That is okay, he says. Once you surrender unto me, I will protect that individual, whoever it is, whatever they have done. I'll give you an opportunity to detour your path. Life itself is an yajna when you perform all actions as an offering to me. There is no being to whom I am unapproachable, inaccessible, unavailable. There's a side story. Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana, was, if you know it or no, was a hunter and a robber. Later he got the self-knowledge and he became divine and became a sage and wrote Ramayana. So same thing, anybody in this universe, any individual, any being have made errors, and now we are in this path, means we are guided in this path by divine. Thus Lord is in all, no being is debarred, denied attaining him. Thus he concludes chapter 9. Now I'm going to show you the PowerPoint presentation and then we can discuss. Hope you can see that. Let me share the screen. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Royal secret, royal knowledge and royal secret. So see, we get all this information. These are all for the intellect, for the memory. And they all keep changing. Today, if you look at it in the world, it is artificial intelligence is the tools. We started with computer in 1985 or earlier, typing, word perfect, Lotus 1, 2, 3. Today we have artificial intelligence. Keeps changing. That is information. So this information can be in our mind and keep upgrading, or we can lose our memory and lose it. That is temporary. It is perishable. Whereas self-realization, that is, I am that, you will never forget. Whatever happens, you know I am there. Feeling from within. It does not upgrade. It does not change. There is no loss. You don't lose it. That is royal secret. See, when you look at the mirror, you know that is me. Whereas when a dog looks in the water reflection, dog does not know it is a reflection. Dog thinks there is another dog and it will start barking. But we don't order second coffee, right? So that is knowledge. Knowledge is from within. And it never perishes. Raja Vidya, royal knowledge, king of all knowledge. Raja Guhyam is royal secret. Secret is sacred. When we have a diamond, we don't just leave it on the table. We keep it in a box with a tissue paper and then put it in a Ziploc bag, put it in the safe and lock it. This is royal secret. Not everybody can understand it. Pavitram is pure. And to understand this, one needs complete Shraddha, truth with reverence, strong conviction that I can trust this. This important verse number 4, I am all pervading, I am unmanifested, and I am in all appearances. All beings are in me, I am not in them, they are not in me. That is why it is called royal secret. Just by reading 4 sentences, reading Bhagavad Gita textbook, we will not understand anything. It needs to be listened to. Different viewpoints. Brahman is different from the world. They are two separate entities, refuted by Shankara, because all the Shakti that we have, then if they are two separate, then that one does not have these powers. So it is not valid. World is a part of Brahman. Any deficiencies in my organ affects me, so also Brahman will be affected. Nirguna Brahman is abhokta, does not experience any of this. World is Brahman, the world is ever-changing, perishable, but Nirguna Brahman is nityam, imperishable, arupam, without any form, dimensions. So I am all-pervading, I am unmanifested, I am in all appearances. One appearing as many. Clay alone is there, but with different names and forms. Brahman, Atman, presence, God, consciousness, awareness, we can call it with any name. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Jesus, Allah, Krishna, you can call with any name. They're all names. There is only one. Different functionalities. Pot is a name for a form. So also Vijaya is a name for a form. Nabakishore is a name for a form. Divya is a name for a form. What is only one. Brahman, Atman, in every being. Clay is the cause, pot is the effect. The name is different, but the material is the same. I am all-pervading, I am unmanifested, and I am in all appearances. Satyamitya Sambandham, real apparent appearance. Is the snake different from the rope? Did the rope transform into a snake? Did the snake slither away upon knowing the rope? Rope alone is. Snake is an appearance. The isness of rope is placed on the snake. Rope is the substratum for appearing snake. Without rope, there is no snake. Without that Brahman, there is no world. That which is for appearance alone is mithya. That which is ever existent is satyam, truth. Appearance has no existence. So I am not in any of them. I'm not dependent on any of them. Just like the rope, the dry land, sand has no connection with the appearing water. I have no connection with anything that appears. Nothing binds me. I'm in all parts are in me. I'm not leaning on the pot. Whether the pot exists or not, I am always there. But for the pot to exist, I need to be there. The name pot and different forms are given to me. Existence, the isness, I alone is. Again, same thing. All beings are in me. I am in all beings. None of them are in me. I am not in all beings. When this is clear, there is no creation. Everything is an appearance. It has to be thought of. Satya alone is. This is the ultimate truth. That is the final step. For the beginners, we say there is Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. That's for the beginners of Vedanta. So he introduced the effect, followed by the introduction of cause, negation of the effect, negation of the status of cause. One alone is. That is what Isa Vasyam Idam Sharmam. That means the entire universe, I alone is Vasudeva Kudumbam. That means there's only one humanity. That is highest state. This is King Janaka who was taught by his guru Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra means with guru with 8 deformities. He talks to King Janaka. Janaka had a dream that he was a king, he was an emperor, and another king came, and then Janaka lost his kingdom, and he was driven out of the country. He was walking, and he was almost trying to get out of his country. But he was hungry, he was thirsty, and somewhere somebody was giving away food. So he went and asked for food, and he got little bit of food in his life, the last leftover, and he was about to go and eat it. A bird came and it spilled, and he woke up. Then he said, I am sleeping in the palace, in my bed, with all these ministers around me. Is this true me, or is that the beggar who was running around was true? Who am I? And Ashtavakra, his guru, he said, you are the one who saw both. You saw the one who is seeing the king and the one who is seeing the beggar. That is you. You are none of this. So also us. I am the inner witness of this body, mind. All animals, you can decide, they have, you can identify, you can say this is the characteristic. The focus vision, it is immediately eagle. Nibbling and balancing, it is squirrel. Understanding human emotions, huge and strong, self-cleaning, all these characteristics. But when you come to a human being, what qualifies you as a human? What is the specific characteristic of a human being? Humans have the ability to change, the ability to choose one's attitude. No other animal has this behavior. Humans alone can be in delusion, in the illusion, maya, mogam, and they get involved in this non-productive activities. Human alone can be a human, angel, or an animal. Man has the power to choose one's thoughts, words, and deeds. So we are the product of our choices as a jiva. So always be kind and compassionate. See the divinity in every being that is around us. This is just wanted to show you. You might have seen it earlier. Homa that we do performs. Homa is a one-day performance. We do it for birthday, wedding day, funerals. Those are all one-day ceremonies. Yajna is done in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7, 3 months or more. And they are also done for personal needs. I want a child, we want wealth, we want health. And then studying scripture is also a yajna. Chanting mantras is a yajna, meditating, prayers, all these things are yajnas. That is offering to the fire god. Then yagam. Yagam is different from yajna. Yagam is for the society, for the entire humanity. We want rain. We want everybody to be happy and better placed. That is yaga. Those days, thousands of years ago, there were no temples. Only yagashala, they used to say. Only we always prayed for the entire humanity. Then slowly, temples came in 3rd century. So this is the last one. So I think I forgot to add that slide. So temples came only in the 3rd century, and then that there are several reasons why temples came also. Because temples, I can show you pictures next time. Temples have step wells. There are thousands of steps going down. So the water will always be there. People were never shortage of water. They always had water. They had one place when, in terms of calamities like a famine, flood, whatever happened, they all came to the entire community came to the temple. So there it was a huge place. People lived there. They got water. They cooked as a family together. They served and ate together, lived together, shared together. That was one reason. Water was never shortage. Third one is they had a kumbha. We call it metallic things on the top. and those were filled with grain seeds. So at famine or flood, everything is gone. So they would take out the seeds from there and give it to the farmers so the farmers can start cultivating again. That was the third reason. Fourth reason was temples were tallest in any town those days. You're not supposed to build any building above the temple's height. The main reason is when a lightning strikes, it strikes those kumbha. That is a metallic um, metal. So it strikes the temple, not in any homes. There were several reasons why they did that. And then they had common performances in temples. They had talks, or they had entertainments, music, dance, everything. So the entire community could come and enjoy it. Those were the reasons why temples came. Before that, it was always yagashala, where people prayed for the general public. So everybody can be safe from flood or famine or heavy rain or shortage of rain. So that's the thing that I just wanted to share with you. Now we complete this, and if you have any questions, you can ask. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.